national and international keynote speakers, distinguished panelists, paper presenters, professional bankers, economic experts, respected deans, head of the department, faculty members, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Minhaj University, Lahore, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you at the 8th World Islamic Economics and Finance Conference 2025. It is a great honor to gather here once again to discuss the challenges and opportunities in Islamic economics and finance. This year's theme is Islamic economics and finance, theory and practices in the right direction, a critical reflection on the present and strategic insight for the future that encourages us to deeply examine where we stand today and how we can move forward effectively. Minhaj University Lahore was founded by Sheikhul Islam Professor Dr. Muhammad Tahirul Qadri in 1986 and continues to excel under the great leadership of Professor Dr. Hussain Mahiuddin Qadri, the Deputy Chairman, Board of Governors, Minhaj University, Lahore. At Minhaj University, we are committed to providing a platform for scholarly debate, innovation, and research in Islamic economics and finance at the highest level of education, such as PhD degree. Our goal is to ensure that Islamic economics is not just an academic subject, but a practical solution for real-world challenges which we are facing today. Dear participants, Islamic economics and finance have made remarkable progress over the recent years. Today, Islamic finance stands as a trillion-dollar industry. However, an important question remains: is this growth benefiting the humanity, benefiting the society in the way as it was originally envisioned? This conference serves as a platform for critical assessment whether Islamic finance is in the right path or how we can strengthen its foundation for the better future of the humanity. This year's discussion will cover significant areas that deal with Islamic economics and finance and the banking sector. The global socio-economic and geopolitical structure is changing rapidly, changing very fastly with the blink of an eye, from climate change to digital finance. So Islamic economics must evolve to meet these challenges and new realities of life. While staying true to Islamic principles beyond financial and success, we must ask whether Islamic finance is truly addressing poverty, financial institutions, financial inclusion, and economic stability. We must make sure that strengthening Islamic finance means ensuring transparency, fairness, and justice in all the financial dealings. Islamic economics must align with the economic goals, including the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This conference will also explore how emerging technology like artificial intelligence, fintech, and digital currencies are shaping the financial world. We must ensure that Islamic finance embraces these innovations while maintaining its ethical foundation. Esteemed guests, this conference is not just about the discussion, it is about creating solutions and providing that solutions for the betterment of the humanity. The future of Islamic economics depends on our ability to critically analyze, innovate, and implement these policies, which will be threadbare in next 2 days over here. And to make sure that Islamic finance more effectively, inclusively, and globally competitive. At the end, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the organizing committees, local and international speakers, scholars, researchers, and students who have worked tirelessly to make this conference possible. And my special thanks to our sponsors, including Al Sadiq Institute of Islamic Banking, Finance and Takaful as a gold sponsor, Rural Development Programs as a gold sponsor, Bank Al Flaw as a gold sponsor, and Pak Qatar Takaful as a silver sponsor. I am also deeply grateful to our collaborators, especially the Security and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, International Islamic University Malaysia, University Islam Sultan Sharif Ali Brunei Darussalam, Bahrain Institute of Banking and Finance, Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Finance Institutions Bahrain, University of Kebong Son in Malaysia, Islamic Finance Singapore, Islamic Finance New Malaysia, Iranian Association of Islamic Finance, Pakistan Blockchain Institute, International Center for Education in Islamic Finance, University Malaysia, Federal University of Kashmir, Gombe State, Nigeria, National Institute of Banking and Finance, University of Technology Malaysia, University Brunei Darussalam, and many other universities which are partnered with us today. Let us engage in meaningful discussion and work together for a better, more just, and sustainable economic future. With this, I officially declare the 8th World Islamic Economics and Finance Conference 2025 as officially open. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, to give us an overview of this landmark conference and to introduce us to the theme and sub-theme, in a warm round of applause, I invite Professor Dr. Muhammad Ishaq Bhatti to the stage. Professor Saab is a professor of finance and financial data analytics at School of Business and Economics, University of Brunei Darussalam. A warm round of applause, everyone.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Namaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Honorable Deputy Chairman, Board of Governor Hussain Muhyiddin Qadri, Honorable Retired Sayyid Justice Sayyid Muhammad Anwar, and Respectable Sayyid Sami Hussain, State Bank of Pakistan. My apology. मैं भी रिटायर होने वाला हूँ तो मुझे आजकल रिटायरमेंट के चक्कर में nowadays I'm thinking every time on a retirement. Thank you. Okay, for correction. Esteemed local and international speakers, panelists, honorable guests, professional financiers, bankers, and all the academics who are present in this hall and who are participating online. Ladies and gentlemen, I seek to welcome you all to the 8th Islamic Economic and Finance Conference 2025, hosted by Minhaj University, Lahore. It is a wonderful to meet you all at the 8th conference. As many of you know, Minhaj University, Lahore is committed advancing the knowledge through a variety of seminars, webinars, conferences, ranging from economic and finance affairs to policy-oriented and international issues, addressing international issues, interfaith dialogues, collecting together the all faiths and all madahib and all Christian and Jews and Hindus together at this platform, building a bridges of peace and love in the humanity. Today's conference is a part of our ongoing effort to deepen our intellectual discourse and intellectual engagement and broaden our perspective to international understanding, how to convey the message of love and humanity through academic activities. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of today's conference is Islamic Economics and Finance, Theory and Practice, Is it in the Right Direction? In this today's conference, we will do a critical reflection on the present and the future strategies of Islamic economic and financial activities, Islamic economics and financial transactions. It poses a vital question for all of us. Our goal is to challenge the assumptions and explore the future of Islamic economic and finance using Minhaj University Lahore's platform. Over the years, this conference has been an important platform for addressing the key issues. In 2018, Minhaj University launched a quest to find the unified model for Islamic economics and finance, a journey that was deeply enriched the academicians and the researcher. The idea was given by Shaykh al-Islam, Professor Dr. Muhammad Tahir al-Qadri. His groundbreaking idea of Taqleed al-Madahis, comparative analysis of various faiths to bring them on one platform so that the regulatory bodies of international organizations should understand that Taqleed al-Madhahib is one of the platforms where a unified model of Islamic economics finance can stand up. In 2019, the Professor Hussain Qadri, the Deputy Governor of Minhaj University Board of the Governor of Minhaj University Lahore, participant explored the intersection of Islamic ethics, Islamic marketing, and in 2020, we focused on strengthening the societies through recent innovation in Islamic economic and finance system globally. The pandemic, all of you know, digitalization and social responsibilities were the key themes of our 2021 conference. It was followed by an exploration of social finance, digitalization, fintech, ESG goals in 2022. Our sixth conference discussed the development of Islamic financial system, considering global challenges, social impact, and how to achieve maqasid al-sharia through value addition, financial inclusion, and ethics and sustainable finance. Last year, we had 7th World Islamic Economic and Finance Conference, which focused on the development of Islamic financial system in the face of global challenges. That conference helped us to understand how Islamic financial system in the face of global challenges, how Islamic economic finance is instrumental to achieve the global development agendas. That was a wonderful conference. This year, again, our focus is clear. How can Islamic economic and finance evolve to meet the needs of the future? Our session include 3 pre-conference workshops using AI technology and fintech, 4 panel discussions, 6 technical sessions, and 18 keynote speeches. 22 countries are representing in this conference, which represent 36 international delegates. This is one of the wonderful conferences which is addressing a right question at the right time. Dear all, let's work together In the spirit of innovation and integrity, under the leadership of Shaykh al-Islam, Professor Muhammad Tahir al-Qadri and Professor Hussain Muhyiddin Qadri, to lay down the groundwork for economic security and prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end, I would like to say you thank you and request you to please sit back and enjoy this wonderful conference. Thank you so much.
Dear audience, it is time to see a video documentation of the progress that Minhaj University Lahore has made over the years. Please, the IT team, could you please play the documentary? Thank you.
Competency, research, creativity, and credibility. Welcome to Minhaj University Lahore, where academics meet state-of-the-art facilities. An institution serving with dedication since 1984. Competency, research, creativity, and credibility. Welcome to Minhaj University Lahore, where academics meet state-of-the-art facilities. An institution serving with dedication since 1986, we promise to deliver knowledge and practical skills. Under the guidance of Shaykh ul-Islam Professor Dr. Muhammad Tahir al-Qadri, and being supervised by the Deputy Chairman of the Board of Governors, a very well-known educationist, philosopher and economist, Professor Dr. Hussain Muhyiddin Qadri.
Minhaj University Lahore, founded in 1986 by Shaykh ul-Islam Professor Dr. Muhammad Tahir al-Qadri, is certainly a place where academic excellence and innovation meet discipline, character building and altruism. MUL is a distinguished university of Pakistan committed to providing more than just education. It offers a holistic experience that nurtures the intellectual, professional and spiritual growth of its students. Minhaj University is the place where curiosity and thirst for learning have fully embraced diverse academic offerings, Pakistan's first robotic and fully automated library, and dozens of internationally renowned research centers. Minhaj University has precisely filled up gaps through its unique and progressive initiatives and emerged as a trend-setter institution of Pakistan.
MUL is an academically progressive university with the dedicated efforts of Vice-Chancellor Professor Dr. Sajid Mahmood Shahzad. University comprises 11 faculties, 36 academic schools, 15,000 plus students, 700 plus permanent and adjunct faculty, more than 400 PhD faculty members, 16 research centers, and 12 research journals.
Minhaj University Lahore is a beacon of progressive education, fostering an inclusive environment where every student can excel both personally and intellectually. The university offers PhD programs in more than 50 disciplines, blending academic consistency with personal growth. Education here goes beyond the textbook. It is a holistic journey inside and outside the classrooms. With several yearly international conferences, including World Religion, Islamic Banking and Finance, and Maritime Affairs, this university is going beyond the ordinary ways of education. Minhaj University Lahore has signed MOUs and efficient collaborations with leading international institutions like Saudi Arabia, Austria, England, Australia, China, Albania, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, Turkey, and many other countries around the globe. The foreign faculty members from globally known universities are teaching at Minhaj University Lahore, providing our students a truly international experience on campus.
Giving educational exposure to students based on real-world life experiences through seminars, educational visits, and guest lectures. Community activities are being organised to construct a positive impact on the society. Our competent faculty is the most prominent feather in the cap of MUL. Highly qualified national and international faculty members are available to mentor, guide and inspire the students for the future.
As a registrar at Minhaj University Lahore, I have witnessed the relentless efforts and unwavering dedication of our staff and faculty in creating a conducive learning environment for our students. Minhaj University Lahore is wholeheartedly committed to provide competency-based education and hands-on expertise for the students' growth and learning experience. Our most applauded facilities, such as Pakistan's ever first robotic library, state-of-the-art research centers, and in-house incubation center, train, guide, and supervise the research students to embark on a research, excellence, and innovation. Since its establishment, Minhaj University Lahore has been striving to nurture the youth and contributing the greater good of Pakistan.
Our state-of-the-art laboratories are the vital spark of MUL. To increase scientific and technological research, we encourage students to think critically and experiment to enhance existing knowledge. To ensure hands-on experience, we have well-equipped TV and radio studios, Ibn Sina Library and Resource Centre, along with modern robotic services, is a multidisciplinary library designed to fulfil the needs of the research scholars for the university. The Ibn Sina Library has a fascinating infrastructure, an extensive collection of more than 50,000 printed and 150,000 electronic books, and digital access to HEC databases on various disciplines. Spiritual community provides vital connection and spiritual values into the physical world. It can lead the healing of mind, body, heart, spirit, and personal growth of the students. Students are groomed into fine sportsmen through yearly sports gala, inter-university annual tournament, and cultural events. Bringing the opportunity to learn from peers, leaders, and research scholars, 20 successful research conferences have been conducted by MUL, addressing some very crucial topics of prominent fields. At Minhaj University Lahore, we offer numerous financial aid, fee concessions, and scholarships for students. Students are awarded for their outstanding performance based on different religious scholars. Baba Guru Nanak Award, Sir Ganga Ram Award, and Ruth Pafu Award. Join us to unlock your potential and be one of the leading professionals in your field. Minhaj University.
Sayyid is the Alim Judge at Federal Shariat Court, Islamabad, Pakistan. In a warm round of applause, Sayyid Muhammad Anwar Sahab.
नामदुहु व नसल्ली अला रसूलिल करीम अम्मा बाद फ़क़त अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली रब्बि ज़िदनी इल्मा सदक़ल्लाहुल अज़ीम. Honorable Dr. Hassan Muhyiddin Qadri Sahab, Deputy Governor, Minhaj University, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Shahzad Sahab, Registrar, Dr. Mughis Sahab, all the experts, ulama, mashayikh, foreign experts, delegates, students, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It's really an honor for me to be here, and obviously Samar Sahab from State Bank is executive director there. It is really an honor for me to be here and to share some of my thoughts and to hear your experience at this auspicious occasion. It is really, I was hearing about the statistics of contribution of Minhaj University in specific only in the field of Islamic finance. I think it is unique in Pakistan. It is unique, without exaggeration, that delegates of more than 30 countries, of this specific subject are here, and all the relevant experts and top-notch experts of Pakistan in the field of Islamic economics, Islamic finance are here. This is the need of hour. Now, it's the time to implement Islamic economics in Pakistan. And Alhamdulillah, the institutions like Minhaj University is taking the lead in the subject, because now the cutoff date for implementing the Islamic finance, the riba-free finance, riba-free economy, and the banking sector is now set in our constitution by 26th Amendment. The cutoff date is 1st of January 2028. Before that, banking sector is supposed to be, rather it is to be converted riba-free, compulsorily. And that is why we are witnessing that representative of State Bank is sitting here with the governor, deputy governor of Minhaj University. Now, although I was not supposed to speak here, but it was wish of, it is my pleasure that it was wish of Dr. Hassan Muhyiddin Qadri Sahab. Normally judges speak through their judgment. So what I wanted to speak, I wrote it in the judgment, but to share some few thoughts here regarding the implementation part of this judgment from the perspective of Sharia. That it's a long judgment, more than 100 pages. If you are interested, please go through that judgment. But just to point out, because time is very short, that and those points are, I believe, are relevant from every aspect where you want to implement Sharia from any aspect of life, be it criminal law, social aspect, or finance. There are 4 principles of Sharia. Sharia gives us 4 principles, 4 leading principles for implementation of Sharia in today's world. Number 1 is tadarruj, graduality. Sharia is supposed to implement, it is our belief, we are Muslim, and it is an Islamic state, and it is our duty to implement Sharia in every aspect of life, because it gives the best solution to the humanity. But it has to be implemented gradually, not suddenly, because we are not supposed to break the system which are working already. We have to go along the system which are being implemented all over the world. And economy is one of the most important one of that. So we have to follow graduality. That's why in the judgment 5 years' time was given to the banks to implement this judgment completely. Number 2 is, which is known as fiqh al-waqi, the reality. Scholars of Islam, they are supposed to live in today's world, not in any philosophical world, not in unreal world. And the best example of this category of ulama is Shaykhul Islam Tahir al-Qadri Sahab. Because what we are witnessing here, it is the example of the fact that he is living in not only today's world, but he is living in the future world. I'm not exaggerating. Normally he is criticized that he is sitting in in Canada. But this criticism is meaningless when we see this, what is today, where we are sitting. It is, we are doing due to his presence. He is guiding all this. He is mentoring everything. If I not want to exaggerate, but I was just thinking when I was talking to Dr. Hassan Muhyiddin that in the field of Islamic scholarship, he is kind of Zulkarnain today in the field of knowledge, because equally his one leg is present in the southeast in Australia, and at the same time is another leg is present in the northwest in Canada, while he is living in Lahore, very much alive, very well present among us. So he is, kindly convey this title to him, please. And the other two principles which we discussed in our judgment of Sharia for implementing Sharia is fiqhul ulawiyat, to set the priorities. This aspect of Sharia is very much relevant for banks and for state bank also. That what aspect of banking sector is supposed to convert first. You have to set the priorities. It is the requirement of Sharia. And the last one is, the fourth one is fiqhul ma'alat, the consequences. You have to see and analyze the consequences of everything. When you are changing the whole system from one to other, from conventional to Islamic, rather Islamic is modern, conventional is old. So when you are adopting a new, a realistic mode of finance, you have to check the consequences also. This is the requirement of Sharia. So generally, these four principles you have to keep in mind, and I would request Dr. Hussain Saab also to, as you are also author of more than a dozen books on Islamic economics, mashallah, God give you, may Allah God give you more strength to contribute and do research on these aspects of Sharia also, specific to the implementation of this judgment in financial sector of Pakistan. Be specific, not theoretical things, because now is the time of become a practical, to show the world that Islam is a practical religion. Everybody, we are here to set the example for all the rest of the humanity. So we should know how much responsibility is there from this aspect upon our shoulders, that it is a practical religion. In now, every student and teacher and expert of economy is convinced that interest brings inflation. Interest is synonym to exploitation in economy. So everybody wants to bring the interest down. And the ideal situation of this is zero interest, which is the demand of Islam. Our economy, what we present and represent and offer to the world is interest-free. So we have to be very careful while implementing it. I hope that representative of State Bank will benefit from this, and all the experts of many other banks I saw the stalls there. All the Islamic banks and the banks which are not yet fully Islamic, they are also here. So we need to be careful, but we have to move forward with this prayer that may Allah give you more success, Dr. Saab. You are real, mashallah, a follower of his representative in every sense of Sheikhul Islam. Really, your scholarship, your vision, your perfection in everything. It's really appreciable. And with this prayer to all of you, I think this conference will be a milestone, a step forward towards implementing Islamic free finance system in Pakistan. Thank you very much.
A round of applause, everyone. Thank you, sir. Carrying forward what you've mentioned, so I would now invite Mr. Syed Samar Hasnain, who is the Executive Director, Islamic Finance Group, State Bank of Pakistan, for his very relevant keynote speech. Thank you, sir.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Justice Saab, Justice Saab की बात कुछ बोलना तो बनता नहीं है, but since I was asked to come and share some of my thoughts, so I'll be sharing that. So my terrain of thoughts would follow in this sequence, that after a few words of greetings, timings and theme of this particular conference, I'll be coming to the topic, which is Islamic economic finance and theory, the guiding principles. And then I'll try to map those principles against the practices that we are undertaking in Pakistan in terms of products and services of the banking industry. Then the alignment of theory and practices, I'll be talking briefly about that. Couple of strategic vision and guiding principles, I'll be sharing that. Then I'll also be coming to the numbers and facts and figures about Islamic banking industry very shortly, which I'll then link with the transformation process. And I'm very thankful to Justice Saab that you made the things easier for me, especially in terms of implementation of all those processes. Your guiding principles are marvelous. Finally, I'll be talking about some of the recent initiatives that the State Bank has taken for conversion and transformation. But I'll start with a question that I pose to the audience, and without answering to that question, I'll end my speech on the same question, because I'll leave it for the next sessions to answer to that question. So my question that I start with is that, do people on the streets, be an individual, your friend, your neighbor, your servant, an SME, a small farmer, or a shopkeeper, or you yourself, has felt a difference in your life by having Islamic banking products and services in place? Answer to this question would set the tone for the next sessions. So, Dr. Saab, Justice Saab, Dr. Saab, thank you very much for inviting me to this conference. And I tell you, frankly, that it's coming from my heart. I'm completely overwhelmed by the things that are being taken here at the university. And I'm extremely thankful to the Minhaj University and organizers for giving me this opportunity. And let me borrow one of my own sentence that I, delivered when I was speaking in Karachi in one of the institutional, in one of the business institutions. And that sentence to me is quite important. And the sentence says, within the inverted commas, it is once in a lifetime opportunity that we got. Transformation. And let's try to capitalize that. Trust me that this is, the people get this opportunity once in a lifetime, or even not in that. So we are very fortunate to have that. And Justice Saab, you have been part of that, you see. I'm referring to the recent amendment, the Constitutional 26th Constitutional Amendment, which was followed after Federal Shariat Court's judgment that Justice Saab has mentioned here. What do the conferences like this do? So that provide us a chance to take a pause, to see where we are, what we are doing, and where are we going to. Are we practicing what we preach under the umbrella of Islamic economics, banking and finance, which is for the ultimate benefit of the humanity, as it is based on the divine principles as mentioned in Quran and Sunnah. Ladies and gentlemen, now I come to the Islamic economics finance theory, because there are two parts of this conference, theory versus practices. And I'll try to explain some of the guiding principles. 4 guiding principles regarding implementation have been mentioned by Justice Saab. I'll be explaining basic 4 guiding principles which govern Islamic banking and finance in general. And the first principle is, of course, as you know, is the principle of equity. This principle provides the rationale and basis for the prohibition of predetermined payments, which is the riba. Why? Because this, avoidance of this, protects a weaker party in a financial context against exploitation. The principle of equity is also basis for prohibiting excessive uncertainty, which is the gharar. Of course, when we avoid that, then the information asymmetry, that can also be removed. The second principle that governs is the principle of wealth distribution. And of course, a levy of 2.5% as zakat is a consequence of that, mandated by Sharia for all Muslims to meet the prescribed minimum threshold of income and wealth. This obligatory act serves as a means to support less fortunate, reduce income disparities, and strengthen social solidarity, reflecting the ethical and redistributive essence of Islamic economic principles, something that the earlier speakers have mentioned about. Third principle is principle of participation. As per Sharia ruling, reward, which is the profit, comes with risk-taking. So the essence of Islamic finance lies in participation. The return on capital is legitimized by risk-taking. And the fourth principle is the principle of ownership. The rulings of do not sell what you don't own mandates assets ownership before transacting. Islamic finance has thus come to be known as asset-based financing. Further, in addition to these 4 principles, of course, that has also been mentioned, the core principles of Maqasid Sharia, which is basically protection of 5 fundamental values: religion, deen, life, nafs, nasl, aql, and property. The last one is property, and you know that, mal. So these principles of Maqasid Sharia and the 4 principles that I mentioned, these are the theory of Islamic finance. And let's try to see how this theory is mapped against what we are doing in Pakistan, especially the financial system and banking system. So against the theory of participation, you see, one of the principles of participation, product based on profit and loss, whether on deposit taking side or financing side, align most closely with the core principle of Islamic finance. And my colleagues from the banking side would be sitting here and they would be knowing that very recently the State Bank of Pakistan has issued instructions in terms of which now the Islamic banks would also be paying a minimum profit rate to their saving depositors. And that rate is not arbitrary rate, you see. It is a certain percentage of whatever the gross yield that they earn on different pools. A portion of that has to be shared with the saving depositors. That was not earlier there. Compared to the conventional banks, which pay, you see, 2%, 1.5% less than the policy rate. So that rate is available for the conventional bank, but it was not there for the Islamic bank because of the Sharia principles and issues. But what we saw is that the saving depositors of, and I'm sure that my colleagues from the bankers would pardon me for that blunt statement, but they were being exploited because they were not getting proper returns on that. So that instructions have recently been issued. In terms of making, you see, practices, mapping practices against the theory. So let's see, as in terms of the whole Islamic banking market, how much is on profit and loss sharing basis. So diminishing musharaka in Pakistan has a leading market share, and I'm talking about in terms of financing portfolio, is about 31.9%. So 32% is diminishing musharaka, followed by the musharaka, which is 30%. So diminishing musharaka, which is primarily used for the mortgage finance, for the machinery, plant and machinery, and musharaka, which is primarily used for the working capital and other financial requirements, the corporate, commercial, and SMEs, that too constitutes around 60%. So 60% of the products of Islamic banking are on profit and loss sharing basis. Now, out of the remaining financing side, there are the products like Ijara, Salam, Istasna, and others. These contribute around 27%. So that whole array constitutes 87%. So, and that is on the financing side. And if you look at the liability side, then 37% of the deposits of Islamic banking industry are current and on qard basis. 39% of the deposits are saving and on mudarba basis. 15% of the deposits are fixed term and on mudarba basis. And what is the point of mentioning all these numbers? That if you look at in terms of theory, then the principles of theory and the distribution of all these products, both on the financing side and as well as on the liability sides, they match, they align. But the question is that are they being deployed in their real spirit? So that's the question. And that's a big if. So in order to address to this big if, I'm not going to answer to that question that are these are in line or not. But in order to address that big if, State Bank of Pakistan has put in place a Sharia governance framework. A framework which tries to ensure that all products and services of Islamic banking industries are fully Sharia compliant. And then there are different tiers within this Sharia governance framework to ensure that. For example, the highest tier is a Sharia Advisory Committee in the State Bank of Pakistan that provides the guidance, and I'm happy that one of the members of a Sharia Advisory Committee is sitting here. And after the Sharia Advisory Committee at the State Bank of Pakistan level, and then we have got a similar facility in SECP as well. Within the banking institution, there is a Sharia board having different scholars. After that tier, the Sharia board, there are Sharia audit, Sharia internal audit, as well as Sharia external audit, and finally the State Bank of Pakistan's own Sharia inspection. So all of these tiers of our Sharia governance framework try to ensure that the Sharia, all products and services are Sharia compliant. We have very recently made certain amendments in the Sharia governance framework. You can always see that on a State Bank's website. Further, Islamic financial institutions operate in an environment where conventional finance predominantly dominates. We should remember that in mind. Of course, when the transformation takes place, that aspect would go away. However, having believed in the superiority of Islamic finance principles and translating the same into developing innovative products that align both with the Sharia principles and modern economic needs requirement, modern economic requirements, extensive research and skilled human resource. And that's an area where, Dr. Saab, your institution, like this institution, other institution can play a role, can play an extremely important role. Justice Saab was mentioning about this phase manner implementation. That's absolutely true, that it has to be. But we should, you see, sitting here, and now I'm not referring to and not speaking to my banking colleagues because they know that. I'm speaking to the students who are sitting over here, is that imagine that one bank in Pakistan, which is the Faisal Islamic Bank, that took almost 5 years to convert from a conventional bank to an Islamic bank, having their staff, you can imagine the staff of one bank. Now imagine that the entire banking industry is going to be transformed. Then what sort of human resource would we be requiring in terms of numbers in those banks and institutions? And that training and capacity building is an area where the institutes like Minhaj University and other institutions can play an extremely important role. So, couple of, strategic guidances that I would like to mention here. There's a need to develop unified framework for Islamic economic and finance that balances ethical, legal, and economic concerns. This could involve building a local as well as global consensus, and I'm very happy that we have got a number of international speakers here, and I'm sure that they'll be discussing that. So that consensus is required, rather than simply adopting conventional financial structure with minimal modification to make Islamic Sharia compliant. So are the instruments in their true spirit, are these just being replicated, being modified? Why can't we have our own, which are in their true spirit? So I think that again is an area where the scholars and practitioners need to discuss more. Similarly, Islamic finance should place greater emphasis on achieving its foundational goal of social justice and maqasid Sharia. This involves, and that has been discussed here, prioritizing the development of products that contribute to poverty alleviation, financial inclusion, one of the area, wealth distribution, Islamic microfinance. Dr. I was very impressed to see that non-banking financial institution that you're running here. So Islamic microfinance models could also be very helpful to address to this issue. And finally, the need to have innovative and technology integration. Just imagine that by having technology and automation, the bigger contracts of Islamic banking and underlying contracts, which sometimes when the customer comes and is scared to see so many pages to sign, all of these can be automated, and just at a click of your computer, you can, give you acceptance to that, and all those could be addressed. That could also reduce the cost. Finally, the Islamic banking landscape in Pakistan. So the journey that we started, restarted in 2001. Now the status is that the Islamic banking deposits and assets of the total banking industry is around 23% and 20% respectively. But this is just the start of the journey, and the time is very short. In terms of the assets, the Islamic banking industry has crossed 10 trillion mark. So the assets of Islamic banking industries are something like 9.8 trillion precisely. These are the September 24 number. Deposits are 7.5 trillion. Islamic banking's compounded annual growth rate, which is the CAGR, is more than 25%, both in terms of assets and deposit. That shows that there is a huge potential of growth. It is growing, but again, there's a long journey to complete. A network of the Islamic banking, now we have got 22 Islamic banking institutions, 6 full-fledged banks, and 15 conventional banks with Islamic branches, full-fledged branches, are windows. And Islamic banking is now available, services are available in 131 districts of Pakistan. Federal Shariat Court, after the Federal Shariat Court's judgment that came, what we did in State Bank of Pakistan, that a very broad level steering committee was set up that is chaired by the finance minister and co-chaired by the governor State Bank of Pakistan. And then under that, there are the Sharia scholars in that, legal practitioners, and accounting, experts are there. Under that, because that provides the guidance as to how to implement that decision, exactly in the way that you mentioned, gradually, but within the timeline. And then under that, and of course the chairman, SECP, and all these are part of that. Under that committee, there is a very high-level committee within the State Bank of Pakistan, which is led by the 2 deputy governors. The sole purpose of that transformation committee is to provide the guidance as to how to transform banking sector. SECP is also doing it for the non-banking financial institutions. Now, the real meat of this whole governance structure, and that's very important to understand, are the 7 working groups. Now, the one working group is providing, guidance on the legal side. What laws should be converted and what are the modifications required in different laws? And that has been mentioned. You see, a number of laws have been mentioned in the decision itself. And one working group is providing, guidance on what regulations would be required to be changed. The regulations of the banking sector, the foreign exchange regulations, how our inspection manuals are going to be changed. One working group is purely focused on transformation. One working group is focused on one of the biggest challenges of this transformation, which is availability of sukuk against public debt of over 40 trillion, and just with available sukuk of 4.7 trillion, how this gap is to be bridged. And again, this is an area where the scholars are needed to provide more guidance. Though the working group is working on hybrid models where the asset-like sukuk structures could be considered, but more Sharia guidance is required, and the practitioner need to provide solution on that. And of course, Minhaj University can play an extremely important role on that. So just to give you a flavor as to how these working groups are operating, imagine that in a period of less than 2 years, 400 meetings of these working groups have taken place. So when we translate that against the working days in a year, so almost every second day, a working group meeting is being held to undertake this whole transformation process. Finally, in order to make this transformation effective, as I mentioned, Sharia governance framework has been revised, but we have also given the broad guidelines to all of the conventional banks in Pakistan, that these are the basic principles on which you develop your business plan, get those approved by your board for the transformation. An important point here to mention is that in State Bank of Pakistan Banking Companies Ordinance, a new chapter has been added, which is purely on Islamic. So that Islamic banking chapter has been added. Against the standards implementation, 38 AOFI Sharia standards have been implemented, and 5 IFSB prudential standards have also been implemented. I have talked about the hybrid sukuk, so I'll not get into that. With that, again, I'll end my speech with the same question to leave for the next sessions to come. Do people on the streets, be an individual, your friend, your neighbor, your servant, an SME, a small farmer, a shopkeeper, or you yourself, has felt a difference in your life with the availability of all these Islamic finance, service, and products? With that, thank you very much.
A round of applause for our esteemed guest. It is my great honor, and I'm humbled to invite the Deputy Chairman, Board of Governors of Minhaj University, Lahore, for the second keynote speech of this session. Professor Dr. Hussain Mohideen Qadri is the President, Minhaj al-Quran International, which is the mother organization of Minhaj University, Lahore. He is the Deputy Chairman, Board of Governors, Minhaj University, Lahore, and a Professor of Economics at the School of Economics and Finance. He is at University of Melbourne, Australia. In September 2019, he was given the Global Islamic Finance Award for his scholarly contributions in the field of Islamic economics and finance. Dr. Hussain has been, yes, a round of applause. That was a huge achievement. Dr. Hussain has been affiliated with the University of Melbourne, Australia as a fellow since 2015 and as a senior fellow since 2020. He is also a member of the International Forum Committee, a subsidiary of the Iranian Association of Islamic Finance. Chairman, Minhaj Education Society, under which 610 plus schools are running in Pakistan and abroad. Chairman Aghosh, our orphan care home with branches in multiple cities where hundreds of orphans are rehabilitated to lead lives of value. Dr. Hussain Mohyuddin Qadri has authored over 60 books in English and Urdu languages. He has written over 100 articles and research papers in national and international papers and journals. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, we welcome our Deputy Chairman, Minhaj University, Lahore, for his keynote speech. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Worthy Vice Chancellor, Minhaj University, Lahore, Professor Dr. Sajid Mahmood Shehzad, Honorable Justice Sayyid Muhammad Anwar, Honorable Sayyid Samar Hassanein, the Executive Director, State Bank of Pakistan, co-chair of this conference, Professor Dr. Ishaq Bhatti, co-chair of this conference, Dr. Mohiz Shaukat, another co-chair of this conference is still in the air. By that I mean Dr. Humayun Dar. He has not arrived yet, but we are expecting him soon. Our respectable, honorable partner and sponsor of this conference, Sheikh Shabbir Hassan Mesmi, convener of this conference, Dr. Khurram Shehzad, Mr. Mohsin Naqvi, CEO, Pakistan Microfinance Trust Network, all other dignitaries, representatives of various banks of Pakistan, representatives of academic institutions of Pakistan, ulama, representatives of media houses of Pakistan, faculty members, students, and dear participants of this great conference of Islamic banking and finance. I would like to extend a warm thanks to all the foreign delegates who have taken the time out to attend this beautiful conference and traveled to Pakistan from almost 20 different countries of the world. So at the moment, we have 36 foreign delegates attending this conference, experts of Islamic banking and finance of different nationalities. Along with them, I would also like to extend a warm thanks to all the presenters on Islamic banking and finance during these 2 days of conference. I wish you all a good luck, and I am very much hopeful that inshallah, these 2 days of intellectual work will bring a lot of good ideas together on which we all can work hard towards the propagation and promotion of Islamic banking and finance. There are so many things which will take place, inshallah, during these 2 days, and I am sure it will be a memorable experience for every single one who is attending this conference, inshallah. Dear audience, as we are attending the 8th version of World Islamic Banking and Finance Conference at Minhaj University, Lahore. So this year I see the academic conference which started 9 years ago that has turned into an Islamic finance fest. You see all the banks, their representatives, stalls outside the conference. The bankers are sitting inside here in the hall, attending the conference. Academics are here. Religious advisors are here. All the major regulatory bodies of Pakistan, their representatives are here. Our worthy and honorable justice is here. So almost every single stakeholder of Pakistan, they are part of this conference today. So we see it as a beautiful success story, which started 9 years ago, but alhamdulillah, during this course of journey, alhamdulillah, that has become a national, rather international event. Today, when we are hosting this conference, so it is a very important time for the industry of Islamic banking and finance. And why is that? Because in 2022, there was a landmark judgment passed by the Federal Shariat Court of Pakistan in 2022. And later in 2024, October, a law making was done by the Parliament, and which demands that by January 2028, all the Islamic financial institutions of Pakistan should become Islamic or move towards Islamization. And then the system and the economic system altogether of the country should move towards Islamization. And right there, we are hosting this conference, bringing all the great minds of Islamic banking and finance together to think hard on the way forward, how we can achieve this target by January 2028. And inshallah, I believe in next 2 days, a lot of panel discussions, paper presentation, and discussions will take place. And inshallah, we'll get to know about the way forward, which will certainly help this judgment and our country, a beloved country, to move towards the objective of Islamization of Islamic financial institutions of the country. But the topic which I have selected today, I would like to take you all along on a journey to explore the legal and constitutional history of Pakistan in relation to Islamic finance. And then we would talk about the gaps. And in the end, I would like to propose a way forward, how we can make this implementation and execution easy for the country. So I would like to propose something in the end as a solution. Dear audience, the debate on the prohibition of riba, which is interest, in Pakistan has been deeply rooted in the country's legal and constitutional history, reflecting the aspiration to align the financial system with Islamic principles. The effort has been seen as a multiple legal, political, and economic phases in the country, culminating in the Federal Shariat Court decision in 2022, and then the constitutional amendment in 2024. From its inception, Pakistan declared Islam as the foundation of its legal and social structure. This principle is enshrined in Article 38F of the Constitution of Pakistan, which mandates the elimination of interest riba. In 1980s, Pakistan embarked on a journey to transform its financial system, introducing interest-free banking measures. These included the creation of Mudarba companies, the introduction of participation term certificates, an amendment to the Banking Companies Ordinance 1962, allowing various Sharia-compliant financing modes like Musharaka, Murabaha, and Ijara. By 1985, the formal shift was declared, making all the domestic banking transactions in Pakistan interest-free. However, despite these changes, the system primarily relied on markup techniques in Pakistan, which were deemed akin to conventional interest-based practices, drawing significant criticism from Islamic scholars and jurists, not just in Pakistan, but worldwide. In the same transformative decade, Shaykhul Islam, Professor Dr. Muhammad Tahirul Qadri, made substantial contributions to the discourse on interest-free banking through his seminal work published in 1985 called Bila Sood Bankari. In English, we would call it interest-free banking. This groundbreaking work laid out a detailed framework for transitioning from conventional to Islamic banking in Pakistan. Shaykhul Islam's model emphasized the use of equity-based modes of financing such as Mudarba and Musharaka, as well as trade-based solutions as Mudaraba, as Murabaha and Ijara, ensuring Sharia compliance while maintaining economic viability in Pakistan. His proposals were among the earliest systematic efforts in Pakistan to provide a comprehensive roadmap for implementing a riba-free financial system in Pakistan. And that has continued to inspire policymakers, religious scholars, bankers, and students of Islamic banking and finance, and all the practitioners over the decades. The landmark Federal Shariat Court judgment in 1991 declared the prevalent financial practices and interest-based laws unconstitutional under Sharia. The ruling demanded the government to eliminate interest-based practice by 1992. However, due to the appeals and resistance from the financial institution, the case lingered in the legal system. In 1999, the Shariat Appellate Bench upheld the Federal Shariat Court's ruling mandating the complete elimination of interest by 2021 in Pakistan. Despite these directives, implementation was delayed repeatedly due to economic challenges, technical complexities, and institutional inertia. After decades of legal battle and partial reforms, the Federal Shariat Court delivered its comprehensive judgment on April 28, 2022. A decision authored by Honorable Justice Dr. Syed Muhammad Anwar, a big round of applause for him, which set a 5-year timeline for Pakistan to eliminate riba from its financial system. In response to Federal Shariat Court's judgment, Pakistan's Parliament passed 26th Constitutional Amendment in October 2024. This amendment made the elimination of riba a constitutional obligation now, revising Article 38F to state that riba must be eliminated by January 2028. While the decision and amendment marks significant milestone in the Islamic finance history of Pakistan, which includes, but that still has challenges faced by not just this decision, but this whole process in Pakistan. And out of those challenges, three most important challenges I would like to mention here. The first one is public debt transformation, which is converting both domestic and foreign debt into Sharia compliant structure. It is a daunting task requiring innovative Islamic financial instruments. The second challenge is capacity building, which is training financial institutions, regulators and stakeholders to operate within a riba-free framework, which is essential for the smooth implementation of this law. And the third most important challenge is socio-economic impact, which is addressing the economic challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inflation alongside transitioning to an Islamic financial system is crucial to achieving tangible benefits of this judgment and law in Pakistan. In 2022, the Federal Shariat Court's decision and the subsequent constitutional amendment represents Pakistan's most significant legal steps towards Islamization of financial system. However, its success depends on collective efforts from policymakers, regulators, financial institutions, academia, and other stakeholders to develop sustainable, equitable, and Sharia-compliant financial solutions for Islamic banking and finance. Dear audience, the term Islamization, or I would say Islamization of financial institutions, hold multifaceted and profound significance that extends far beyond just eliminating riba from the system. While prohibiting riba is undeniably a core principle in Islam or Islamic economics, the broader vision of Islamization encompasses a fundamental transformation of economic structures, societal priorities, and financial behavior to align them with the moral, ethical, and social objectives of Islam. This process is deeply rooted in overarching Islamic principles of justice, fairness, and communal welfare. Reducing the concept of Islamization of financial institutions solely to this prohibition of riba would be misunderstanding of Islamic economic system. Riba represents only one form of injustice in financial infrastructure, primarily involving exploitation of individuals through fixed or guaranteed returns without sharing risk or rewards in trade. Its removal is not the ultimate goal or objective of Islamic economics. I would rather call it a beginning or a first step towards the Islamic economic system. Historically, attempts to Islamization of financial institutions have often just focused on substituting conventional financial products with Sharia-compliant alternatives. For example, loans are replaced by murabaha, cost plus sale, or ijara, which is leasing. However, such efforts frequently retain the structures and dynamics of conventional finance, making them procedurally Sharia-compliant, but failing to transform their underlying nature. True Islamization of Islamic financial system demands moving beyond superficial adjustments to the essence of how financial services operate. The financial system must actively discourage exploitation, wealth concentration in few hands, and unjust practices while promoting risk sharing, mutual cooperation, and productive economic activities in any country or system. A meaningful Islamization of financial institutions or a system involves reimagining the whole system altogether. It is not just about make and shift arrangement. It's about reimagining and redrawing the whole system altogether. That includes the creation of mechanism that ensures transparency, equity, and accountability in economic dealings, converting conventional financial products into Sharia-compliant modes through procedural changes, such as using sukuk instead of bonds for the government financing, or replacing interest-based loans with Sharia-compliant contracts. Addressing compliance, that is an important part of this move, but does not necessarily achieve the transformative vision of Islam. Furthermore, Sharia-compliant financial institution must address the state's domestic and foreign debt obligations. The current reliance on interest-based financing for public debt must be replaced with the mechanisms that align with Islamic principles. Government securities should be restructured into an Islamic financial instruments such as sukuk to ensure compliance. However, this transformation must go beyond technical adjustments and align with the ethical and social goals of Islam. The financial system envisioned by Islam is deeply inspired by the practices and principles exemplified by Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the prophetic era, the economic framework was built on justice, mutual cooperation, and equitable distribution of resources in the society. Financial transactions were governed by the principles of risk sharing, transparency, and fairness, that no party was exploited or disadvantaged in that society. The prohibition of riba was just a complementary element to that whole big system and not the whole Islamic economic system. And the broader focus of that period was on social welfare of the society. This is the backbone of Islamic economic system. Any economic system called Islamic and does not look after the poor segments of the society cannot be considered Islamic altogether. So that has to be covering and looking after those poor and weak segments of the society to become a completely Islamic economic system. Poverty, alleviation, and economic empowerment were few other most important elements and pillars of that economic system which was given by Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the most critical yet overlooked aspect of Islamization is its social dimension. A truly Islamic financial system not only eliminates riba and comply with Sharia, but also addresses the real world problems like poverty, inequality, and financial exclusion. Islamization is incomplete if it fails to translate into tangible improvements in the lives of the poor of the society. If that does not address or improves the lives of the poor of the society, to me, there is no difference between conventional banking system or Islamic banking system. In the current context, despite the growth of Islamic banking, financial inclusion in many Muslim majority countries, including Pakistan, remains low. This is not just due to the absence of Islamic banks, but because of a broader economic challenges such as unemployment in the society, poverty and inflation. Addressing these issues requires a financial system that actively promotes social welfare through innovative solutions tailored to the need of poor, small-scale farmers and micro enterprises of any society. Pakistan's reliance on interest-based borrowing for both domestic and foreign financing poses a significant barrier to achieve riba-free economy. The issuance of sukuk, Islamic bonds, as an alternative to conventional bonds has been a step in the right direction, but it represents only a partial solution. To fully align with Islamic principles, the government must adopt equity-based financing mechanism, such as profit and loss sharing arrangements, which inherently align risks and rewards. Additionally, the process must include the transformation of government securities into instruments that are not only Sharia compliant, but also inclusive and participatory. For instance, community-based or asset-based or backed financing modes can be developed to mobilize public fund for infrastructure projects. These models would not only eliminate riba, but also foster a greater economic participation and accountability in the country. If we look at some of figures, statistics of the government securities, conventional versus Islamic, we see conventional banks holds a dominant share of PKR 38 trillion in government securities, while Islamic banks holds only PKR 5 trillion in the government securities. This shows a significant gap in the participation of Islamic financial institutions in government financing. Similarly, if we look at government securities held by banks, out of PKR 43 trillion in total government securities, conventional banks hold 25.6 trillion, whereas Islamic banks hold only 4.2 trillion in government securities. Deposits, conventional banks has PKR 25 trillion in deposits, whereas Islamic banks, they have only 7.3 trillion in deposits. To achieve this conversion, again, we need new Islamic finance-based instruments, new sukuk models, and a kind of product innovation to address these gaps. Without that, this is a dream which will not be able to be achieved. Dear audience, Islamic banks, which stand to benefit the most from the transition to a riba-free economy, must be held accountable for their role in promoting social finance and welfare. Their profitability should not come at the expense of their ethical and social responsibilities. Instead, they must actively contribute to the development of an inclusive and equitable financial system that benefit all segments of the society, particularly those who are in need. The current financial landscape in Pakistan reflects a stark disparity between profitability of Islamic banks and social finance, realities of the population. Despite the growth of Islamic banking, Islamic financial inclusion remains alarming low in Pakistan, with large segments of population excluded from access to basic financial services. This exclusion is not due to the absence of Islamic banks in the system, but stems from the systemic economic challenges such as poverty, unemployment, and priorities of Islamic banks. To ensure that the benefit of Islamization reaches all segments of the society, Islamic banks must realign their priorities. This includes dedicating a substantial portion of their resources to social finance initiatives, community development projects, and microfinance programs in Pakistan. They must also adopt transparent and accountable practices, ensuring that their operations contribute to the social and economic upliftment of the community. Of Islamization of economy is human capital. Human capital, as we all know, is a lifeblood of any industry, and its role in Islamic finance is both pivotal and multifaceted. The journey to authentic Islamization, particularly the creation of innovative financial products that truly embody Islamic principles, hinges on the availability of skilled professionals who possesses a deep understanding of Sharia and modern financial system. This endeavor requires a paradigm shift, moving from replication of conventional products to the development of authentic Islamic financial products. The current global landscape of Islamic finance underscores a significant gap in the availability of adequately trained professionals in Islamic finance industry. This issue is particularly acute in Pakistan, where the industry faces dual challenges: a lack of skilled professionals who can design Sharia-compliant products, and a shortage of individuals capable of integrating social impact into the financial solutions. The demand for Islamic financial professionals in Pakistan far outstripped the supply, with the additional 3,000 to 4,000 professionals needed annually for Islamic finance industry. But we are not producing that much. Moreover, the limited scope of existing educational program compound the problem. Many institutions focus on theoretical knowledge without equipping students with the particular skills needed to innovate and address the contemporary challenges. This among them is lack of focus on R&D has led to the stagnation in the development of genuine Islamic financial products, forcing the industry to rely heavily on tawarruk-based solutions. A practice often criticized for its resemblance to conventional finance. For that, Malaysia serves as a compelling case study, demonstrating how robust human capital development can propel the Islamic finance industry forward. The establishment of International Center for Education in Islamic Finance in SAFE and initiatives like value-based intermediation have placed Malaysia at forefront of Islamic finance education and innovation. These programs prioritize, thereby aligning the industry with broader objectives which are Maqasidu Sharia. However, Malaysian experience also highlights critical lessons for Pakistan. Despite its advancement in educational infrastructure and government support to Islamic finance industry, the over-reliance on tawarruk indicates that even a well-developed ecosystem can fall short without continuous innovation and clear focus on ethical social objectives. So what to talk about Pakistan, where we haven't initiated this journey? Dear audience, the shortage of skilled and Sharia scholars and professionals in Pakistan that increases and aggravates the problem by the fact that many finance institutions rely on a small pool of religious experts. I would rather say 50% of the total presentation or representation on Sharia boards of Pakistan, 50% of scholars are common. You can easily imagine how narrow this whole circle is. And that would certainly tell you how much new ideas can only enter into the system where innovation Islamic financial ideas, so that we can come up with the products. Reading the same book again and again would not provide you new solutions. We need to expand our libraries to add new ideas, new creative minds, better solutions, to open up. That's how we will be able to have original and genuine Islamic financial instruments and products. Dear audience, institutions like Minhaj University and many other institutions who are dedicated to the cause of promotion of Islamic finance, I call these new established centers the focus, a pivotal point where the innovation is taking place. We need to look into these and such institutions where the work is taking place, innovation is taking place, research is taking place, which could certainly benefit the whole idea, which could assist the implementation of the law passed by the Parliament of Pakistan in 2024. One of the most significant criticism on the current state of Islamic finance is its tendency to replicate conventional financial products. This approach not only undermines the industry's credibility in the eyes of people, but also limits its potential to offer innovative solutions to contemporary economic challenges. What we need to do, I call that move a migration from mimicry to innovation. That's what we all need to do in Islamic finance industry. We have to migrate from mimicry to real and genuine innovation in Islamic banking and finance. That will increase the share of Islamic banking and finance in the market. That will increase the credibility in the eyes of end consumer. That will certainly bring a lot of more confidence and trust of people on the banks, on the Sharia advisors, on the people and practitioners of Islamic banking and finance. Education institutions are uniquely positioned to lead this charge in product development. By integrating Islamic jurisprudence with modern financial theory, these initiatives and institutions can equip students and future leaders of Islamic finance industry with the skills needed to innovate and address complex challenges to this industry. However, the current landscape in Pakistan reveals a stark contrast to this ideal. One of the most pressing challenges in Islamization of this industry, as I have mentioned, is public and private, the foreign debts. And that would only be addressed if academia and industry could come together along with the regulators to think hard and work together to develop new instruments and solutions, such as Waqf-based financing could be an option, community-driven investment vehicles could be an option. Having yet, these options are yet to be explored on a significant scale. These models require rigorous research collaboration between academia, industry, and regulators. Without that, if we simply ask academia, they come forward and come up with the products. No, they lack industrial experience. Industry need to come together. Then, if we expect only these two partners, they come together and give us the solution, no, again, they will not be able to. Regulators have to come along. Or rather, regulators have to initiate this move and bring academia and industry together on board and giving them a task altogether to develop new instruments and come up with the solution and addressing the problems the country is facing, the system is facing. If we are actually focused and with open minds, we bring more people on board for the idea, for the solutions, for the work, inshallah, this is not a big deal. We cannot address these problems. These are addressable. It's just a matter of seriousness, willingness to address the problems and challenges. Dear audience, now I would like to propose a solution. What is the solution? What is the way forward after the judgment, after the law has been made by the parliament? By January 2028, how we can achieve this objective? Not by just the statements, not by just such conferences. This is certainly a place where people brainstorm. But then we need something more to address the problem so that actually we could arrive together to that objective or defined destination. And to that, I would like to propose a multifaceted solution which has two parts of it. The first one is establishing a dedicated Islamic finance fund in Pakistan. That would prove to be a cornerstone of a substantial Islamic finance ecosystem in Pakistan. I would call it National Islamic Finance Development Fund. This fund will not only address the existing challenges, but also serve as a catalyst for innovation, capacity building, and development of genuine Sharia-compliant financial products. A collaborative and inclusive governance model will ensure the representation of all critical stakeholders and eliminate the legacy bottleneck while fostering merit-based academia and industry. The third objective would be enhancing the infrastructure and operational efficiency of Islamic finance education and research in Pakistan. The proposed fund would be governed with the principles of transparency, accountability, and inclusivity. The authorities of these funds would be, it will be operated under the authorities of State Bank of Pakistan, Securities and Exchange Commissions of Pakistan, and Ministry of Finance. These regulatory bodies will oversee the fund alignment with national priorities, ensuring accountability at every book. Banks participate and contribute in this fund as a part of corporate social responsibility obligation. Academic institutions will become part of this fund. The universities who have proved themselves to be a dedicated partners in this battle, they will be made part of this fund for the assessment, for the decision making, and for the development purposes. Non-banking and financial institutions will also come forward to sit on the board as a partners, where they will provide their analysis from the grassroots level. The legal and Sharia scholars, they would also be sitting on the boards, giving the Sharia advices and their expert opinion while disbursement of the fund and development of the products. Industry bodies such as Pakistan Banks Association, philanthropists, international organizations like IDB and AOFI, they will also be requested to send their representatives to be part of that council or fund, where they could share their technical expertise and other. The governing board, with equal representation from all stakeholders groups, will oversee the fund operations. Clear and public available guidelines for disbursement will ensure meritocracy and transparency. Periodic audits and reports will maintain the accountability and build public trust in that fund. This fund will mobilize resources through diverse sustainable channels, as I have mentioned. The Islamic and conventional banks, they will contribute in the fund because of their corporate social responsibility. The philanthropists will contribute. Other organizations will be asked the zakat to contribute their zakat and other charitable obligations towards this fund. And some international donors will also and can be invited to do so. And what areas this fund will focus? Capacity building, financing faculty development programs in universities, student scholarships and internships, and establishing advanced training centers by Islamic financial professionals. This fund will assist doing all that in the country. Funding high-impact projects to develop new Islamic financial instruments, especially in the areas like public debt conversion and fintech applications, supporting academic industry and industry collaboration for product co-development, developing standardization or standardized curriculum in Islamic finance, incorporating emerging trends like ESG, fintech, and value-based intermediation, upgrading a physical and digital infrastructure of universities offering Islamic finance programs. Each recipient institution will submit a detailed report on fund utilization project outcomes biannually. Only institution demonstrating measurable contributions such as research output of graduates and product development will only be eligible to apply again for the funding. Institution will undergo periodic assessment by the National Evaluation Committee under that fund, ensuring consistent performance and impact. This fund will certainly expedite this movement, and the focus will increase towards actual implementation of the judgment and the law passed by the Parliament of Pakistan. And then these regulatory bodies will come together to motivate all the universities and industries and other stakeholders to actually sit together and by the time frames develop the tangible products which could be assessed and implemented in the industry. If we do not move towards the objective in this manner, we will not be able to achieve the objectives, and the destiny would be same like in 1992 a judgment was passed, then 2001, 2004, and this will again be linger on to something maybe 2050 or so. Unless we actually move forward with a tangible solution and implementation. And this is the way forward which I have described. We have to have a fund to do so altogether. And the second aspect of this solution is establishment of a development of collaborative framework for Islamic finance development. this will complement that fund. The development of collaborative framework for Islamic finance development, this will complement that establishment of the fund. So basically these two wings will come together to work on this idea to achieve the destiny and objective. Why? Instead of focusing solely on centers of excellence, focusing on centers of excellence which have been established decades ago, we need to sit together and look into the contributions of those centers today. Have we really achieved for what those centers were established? Or they are just another universities running the programs of Islamic banking and finance? If they are not, then the collaborative network will do that which were supposed to be achieved and done by those centers. So these centers which are being established under the name of Centers of Excellence for Islamic Finance, they can also come together and sit on that collaborative network. And some other new institutions are to be invited as well on board. And then their focus should be broadened up. And that collaborative network will work with that fund together. And collaborative network will help and assist the governing body of that fund to translate and distribute the fund among the industry. So whosoever will be part of that collaborative network, they will receive that fund and they will execute the idea and then solutions or approach which will be decided among the stakeholders of that fund. They will be implementing it down in the industry. So in this collaborative network, industrial partners will be sitting, academic partners will be sitting, Sharia advisors will be sitting, HEC will also be part of this. This is where the academia will be mobilized actually to give their true input to industry as well as the regulators. So this collaborational network will be eyes and ears of that fund which will be running under the supervision of State Bank of Pakistan. So this will be hands of that fund. They will actually work hard to develop a new product with the time frames, and they will provide all that to the State Bank, SECP and the government of Pakistan. So it will be a very inclusive one. We will include all the relevant and active stakeholders and partners in this. And this fund, this collaborative network will be, as I have mentioned, an assisting hand for this. The administrative body will be again SBP, SECP and HEC and Ministry of Education and Ministry of Finance of the country. Collaborating academic institutions, merit-based recognition of such institutions, and not just relying on the size and age of the institution. We need to look beyond that and look what and where exactly the research is taking place, the contribution is coming from. So we have to look beyond the age and size of the institution. Then only we'll be able to achieve and arrive to the true solutions of something. They will be asked to develop national curriculum for Islamic finance. This collaborative network will be asked to develop national curriculum for Islamic finance. They will be asked to train Islamic finance faculty. They will be asked to develop Islamic finance academic programs. They will be asked to develop Islamic financial products. They will be asked to run the mentor workshops. They will be asked to provide consultancy to all the businesses and banks of Pakistan on the journey of transition from conventional to Islamization. They will co-develop different products, and they will regulatory oversight by SBP and SEC and HEC will be an instrumental thing in assisting this collaborative network. This integration will certainly create a tremendous results for the country and to achieve the objective. In the end, I would like to summarize this proposal for a better understanding. I have proposed to establish a framework, launch a fund which would actually finance the new development in the country, and the contribution will come from the banks as well as philanthropic institutions. The second phase would be developing a guidelines and merit for funding and evaluation, then implementing the national curriculum across participating universities. So every university would have a single curriculum which would be approved by the State Bank of Pakistan and not independent and theoretical only. It would be very practical, and that would be implemented countrywide. So a quality human resource could be achieved and developed through these universities, scaling research and innovation, fund high impact research projects, develop flagship Islamic financial institutions and products, use fintech and advanced technology-oriented solutions, launch social impact programs, and annually review to assess programs and refine strategies and expand collaboration with international Islamic finance bodies. If we achieve this holistic way forward, then only we will be able to achieve the destination of Islamization of Pakistan's economy by January 2028. Dear audience, and for that, Minhaj University is always there to assist the country, assist State Bank of Pakistan, assist SCCP, assist industry. And to a starting initiative, today I want to announce that during this conference, there is an MOU signing ceremony taking place between Minhaj University and Microfinance Network, and we have decided that we will open up a department to assist country for the Islamization of institution. So inshallah, that department will be assisting any organization, bank, microfinance company, or any other business who is eagerly interested in becoming Islamic. So this department and council, which will, in result of this MOU, the council, they will be there to help them throughout the process and implementation of all the basic Islamic principles within their organization. So in the end, I would again like to thank all our honorable guests, representatives of State Bank of Pakistan, representatives of SCCP, our honorable justice, all the dignitaries sitting right in front of me, Dr. Amjad Saqib, and all other representatives who have made this conference beautiful by their presence. So I would like to thank you all once again. And most importantly, I would like to congratulate and thank all the organizing team members who have made this, their efforts have made this conference so beautiful and successful. Of course, we acknowledge that without your contribution and great efforts, we could not been able to achieve this success. Certainly, a lot, I would say rather all credit goes to the organizers and the team members, our students, staff members who have been instrumental in organizing and decorating this conference. Thank you very much once again. Wassalam.
Thank you, sir. Now I would request the Registrar, Minhaj University Lahore, Dr. Khurram Shehzad, to come and introduce the next segment, the Lifetime Achievement Awards.
Assalamu alaikum, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Dear participants and respected guests, since 2018, Minhaj University Lahore has proudly established a tradition of presenting Lifetime Achievement Awards to academic leaders, practitioners, and professionals for their significant contributions to the field of Islamic economics, banking, and finance. The slides on the screens display the recipients of previous awards starting from 2018. Each year, a jury of international experts suggests nominees, and after careful considerations, 2 recipients are selected. Typically, one award goes to an expert from Pakistan, while the other is awarded to an international expert. This year, the jury has chosen 2 outstanding individuals for the Lifetime Achievement Awards. The first award goes to a person whose relentless efforts have not only upheld justice, but also promoted human rights and Islamic legislation. Throughout his career, he has embraced various roles and significantly influenced Pakistan's legal and judicial landscape. From the prohibition of interest in 2022 to the goal of making Pakistan's financial system entirely interest-free by 2027, his visionary leadership has steered the economy of Pakistan toward alignment with Islamic perspective. Today, we honor a prosecutor, jurist, scholar, and legislative counselor. I mean, Justice Dr. Syed Muhammad Anwar. This award recognizes his exceptional achievements in creating a financial system that upholds Sharia compliance. Let us join together in welcoming Justice Dr. Syed Muhammad Anwar in front of the stage to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award for his remarkable legacy in the global Islamic finance community. I would request Professor Dr. Hussain Mohyuddin Qadri, Syed Samar Hasnainsa from State Bank of Pakistan, Dr. Sajid Mahmood Shehzad, Vice Chancellor of the University, and Justice